Right now, there are a lot of people on the planet going through what I've come to call the Buddha phase of their spiritual awakening process. And this can be a challenging and yet extremely rewarding and just very profound shift in not only the state of consciousness of the seeker, but also their entire life. Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening process. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 signs that you are going through this profound Buddha phase of your awakening process. And beyond that, I'm going to share with you what to do when you're in it. There are times in the seeker's journey where everything seems to accelerate. The rate of spiritual growth, the demands asked of them by their intuition, and the breaking down of old things in their life that no longer serve. And it can just feel very overwhelming and very intense. And during this Buddha phase, all of it's happening for the single purpose of compelling you, almost forcing you to finally let go and yield to the flow of life. I'll give a metaphor. It reminds me of a story. About a year and a half ago, I had this really powerful ayahuasca experience. And at that time, I had taken the medicine probably 10 or 12 times. So I was somewhat experienced slightly with it. And what had happened was I was in this ceremony and I drank the medicine and I felt nothing. And everyone else is having their processes. So many people are throwing up. The shamans are singing and dancing and chanting. And I'm sitting there kind of bored thinking like, wonder what's going on here. Sure enough, they call a second round. I go up and nothing. Finally, the last song comes on as they're kind of ending ceremony, and the medicine just floored me all at once. It was this overwhelming rush of, oh my goodness. Not only is this maybe the strongest experience I've ever had, but it's starting to come on when the ceremony is pretty much over. And I knew I would have to kind of sit there and go through this kind of on my own without the guidance and support of the music and the shamans and the people and the unison. And it was very scary for me. So I did what a lot of people do when things come at them kind of quickly and overwhelm them. I resisted. Okay, I waited for everyone to leave the room and go outside to talk. And what I did is I picked up my pillow and I grabbed my bed and I debated on going upstairs, and I started going upstairs and realized I don't want to be upstairs, and I came down and went to the bathroom, and I was like pacing around, like refusing the experience. And it was so challenging. I was like, oh my God, what the heck's happening? Finally, I raised my hand. There's someone who came in. It was like someone who I recognized as one of the helpers. I just raised my hand and just said, help, I need help. She came over and she was so sweet and like, what do you need, honey? And I was like, I don't know, I need some help. So she went and got one of the shamans, who's actually come to be a good friend of mine. And this woman sat down, and what calmed me down is the look in her eye. I could see that my situation wasn't a concern for her, that she's seen it before, and that all is well. And she said, you have to just let go and learn the lessons right now. You have to let go and learn the lessons. And once I saw it was safe to do that, and I chose to kind of let go, the experience was like whoosh. It became this extremely cathartic, healing, valuable series of lessons and breakthroughs and insights. I was flooded with downloads and clarity, and it was this amazing spiritual transformational experience. And all I had to do was let go. And that's the main theme of this Buddha phase of awakening. Prior to letting go and having this beautiful experience, I was restless. I was freaking out pretty much, honestly. I thought something was wrong, and that's kind of how it can be when we're going through this Buddha phase of awakening in our life. It's more of a prolonged experience, but all of it's compelling you to let go. And there's, oh my God, it's so worth it, my friends. And anyway, I digress. I'm going to go ahead now and share with you these 7 signs so that you can know what's happening with you, and you can know exactly what to do to get that type of profound transformation that's attempting to happen for you right now. Sign number 1 I wrote down: dark night of the soul tone. dark night of the soul tone to yourself, how you're feeling, your energy body, your emotional state of being, your life situation. The dark night of the soul, it can tend to put us in this like pressure cooker, this contractile type of period where it's very unsettling, very uncomfortable. Many things in our life are kind of up in the air, and we're filled with doubt and filled with uncertainty and concern. And not only that, just a lot of our old wounds are kind of coming up at the surface and feeling stuck in our system. And as we're in this sort of contracted state of consciousness for a little while, it's mirrored out in our life. That's kind of what I mean by the dark night of the soul tone. Oftentimes when you find yourself going through this, there will be no sunshine. Even the weather can sometimes reflect this. It's reflected in your reality in all ways. Number 2, you might find that you're reevaluating everything in your life, who you are, what your values are, what matters most to you, where you want to go in life, your career, your relationships. Everything is like up in the air, and you're just in this state of confusion. Like, I don't know. I don't really know anymore who I am, what I want, what I stand for, what's important to me. And it can seem like your higher self is hinting like there needs to be some big changes right now, because a lot of this stuff in your life, it ain't working. But you're sitting there feeling lost. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know who I am. This is kind of happening to me as of recently. I've spent a few years building up my YouTube channel, building up my online presence, working with people throughout their awakening. And now it's like the winds of change have blown in, and it's like time. I'm feeling like, was this really an authentic sort of expression of my true self? I don't know. And I've been feeling called to write a book. But what do I write about? And it's just this, I'm in a milder space of it. I've gone through way more intense cycles of this when it comes to career changes and such. But there's just this, it's more of like the state of mind of no longer feeling so certain about who you are and what you want in life. You're just looking at everything from this new angle, and it's scary. Even though it's a different perspective, and you'll have a lot of insights and new realizations and more clarity eventually of who you are and what you came here to do. But as you're in this period of reevaluation, it can be very stressful when you're filled with such uncertainty. Number 3, during this time, as much as you would like it, as much as you think you need it, you might feel temporarily cut off from some of the more obvious signs from spirit, we'll say. There are times where your life is very much guided, and you feel very, very much not alone. And there's synchronicity, there are signs, you have dreams, there are just these like the perfect timing type of scenarios, opportunities come you're just like in this flow of life where it's kind of easy and you always kind of know what to do intuitively, right? And you're in the flow. But when you're going through this Buddha phase transformation, you're temporarily out of sync with that. Not that you're totally cut off, because it's actually kind of easy to tap in, but I'm saying you're cut off from that spiritual easy ride that you've sometimes been able to experience. And this can be even more concerning. You're thinking, I don't know who I am. I'm being asked to make a lot of changes. Got the whole dark night of the soul going on with me, and I don't even have any clear guidance. I used to flip through my tarot cards sort of like in a panicky state, like, why? Tell me something. And it was like, nothing. Or maybe I get the Fool card, and they're saying to just drop the cards, bro. Just be in it. I don't want to be in it. Number 4, you're going through a major life transformation, and you're filled with uncertainty because the circumstance, and for everyone it's different, is going to be perfect to make you know that life is bigger than you, that there are some things you cannot control. And what we're experiencing right now currently on the planet with the coronavirus is a perfect example. It's something that we don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know how we're going to be affected. We don't know how long it's going to last. And it's a very serious thing for a lot of people right now. And there's that like, you know what? There's not a single soul on the planet that can say, Victor, it's going to be fine. Give it 2 weeks. This is all that's going to happen. And once you get to that point, you're free. It's like no one knows, right? And that's such a there's such beauty and such potential in that vulnerability that most human beings never allow themselves to experience. But your spiritual awakening, as you've seen, it kind of takes on a life of its own. And it will influence your reality experience so that you learn these types of universal lessons, which are, in this case, it's best to let go and let the flow of life and sort of like align with the flow of life. But the experience of being sort of forced to let go into the unknown is very, very uncomfortable for a lot of people, including myself. Sign number 5, you're feeling very backed up, very blocked up, and you might have like racy thoughts. You'll just have a sense that you have a lot of unresolved issues that, as inconvenient as the timing is, are coming up for you. And you might feel like your chakras are blocked. You might feel like you have just trapped emotions in your system. And then also because of that uncertainty, there's like racy kind of panicky thoughts at times. Now, it's not always like this, but you just find yourself feeling like, man, it reminds me honestly when I used to be a heroin addict a long time ago when I was 18 and 19 years old. And when you withdraw from that type of drug, there's this feeling. The withdrawal symptoms, by the way, are horrible, but there's this peculiar type of feeling of like being like crawling in your skin. Like there's the impossibility during those times to like really rest, and you're just forced to be like you're stuck in this yucky state of being. And that can be part of this as well, that type of experience. Number 6, at this point of the journey, you're feeling jaded. You're feeling like, man, I've had enough. I've had enough of these spiritual awakening cycles. I'm sick of purging, sick of healing, sick of being asked to take these wild leaps of faith, one after the other, without any sort of guarantee. I'm sick of the breakdown. I'm sick of the transformation. I'm sick of my unconscious emotions that are constantly, systematically being purged out of me. And I just don't have it in me. I'm feeling like I want to throw in the towel. I'm done. There might be some frustration. I used to, at this type of point, start like yelling at my spirit guides. I would like say, screw you, I'm done. I'd have like full-on conversations with me protesting my, spirit guides and so forth. So it's very common to feel like, oh my God, I just can't handle this. I want to be done. Was this a mistake? Should I have just taken the freaking blue pill or whatever and stayed asleep? No, it's not the case. What you're experiencing is a dawning of awareness. All this stuff was always with you, always impinging upon your ability to be your best self. The only difference is now you're aware of it. Now you can make conscious decisions and sort of radically and quickly improve all areas of your life. But we needed the information. We needed to know what we're carrying, what work we have to do. We needed to know what's not really truly in alignment with our highest good, with our highest life path. And now that you know, albeit all at once, and it's overwhelming, now you can transform from it. Number 7, when this is happening to you, there's only one thing left to do. There's only one thing we can do to stop the suffering, to learn the lessons, to get the message, to experience this shift in consciousness that goes very deep. One thing to do. It's surrender. You knew it, you saw it coming. It's surrender. Just the other day, I had this sort of surrender-like experience where I was feeling all these signs just a few days ago. And that's why I chose to make this entire video. And I found myself sort of wanting to go to the Red Rock Mountains with my wife, which normally is kind of an escape. It's also can be healing and insightful, but for me, it's a break from life, a break from just my responsibilities, and a time to just kind of go within. But I went to the Red Rocks this particular day, hoping to just feel really good. But when I got up high on the Red Rocks, I had my beautiful vistas. It was a beautiful sunny day. All the circumstances I had sort of controlled and made better, more favorable. But the constant was how I felt. I felt blocked up. I felt confused. I felt unresolved. I felt the sting of uncertainty that I know so many of you feel right now. And I left the mountain feeling the same. And finally, I found myself in a Whole Foods parking lot. I sent my wife into the store, and I said, you know what? I gotta do something, man. I'm sick of feeling this way. So I sent her in and just stayed in my truck, put on some good music, reclined back, and I was just like, whatever. I was like, whatever. I surrender. I'm done. I let go. I'm gonna just trust. And then once I just sort of said that and made that conscious choice to let go, surrender, and trust, I felt this energy start, this pent up energy sort of releasing out of me. And I felt like I just sank into this place of incredible acceptance, more generalized acceptance of the comings and goings of my life than I've ever had in my entire life. Now, I've had stages of this happen over the course, but it's a very powerful awakening stage where everything accelerates to force you into a deeper place of surrender. So if any of these resonated with you and you're still with me, I'm gonna go ahead and share with you now some suggestions I have. Having gone through this a few times, I think I can really help guide you through it. Because in the past, you know what? I didn't understand what was the point of this. And I sort of, instead of getting the lesson, getting the depth of connectedness that's potential for all of us, I was just enduring it and waiting it out and waiting for it to blow over. And it will blow over. You'll go back to kind of normal eventually. But right now, if you're feeling this way, there's a golden opportunity to, again, sink into a new level of consciousness you can't even imagine yourself experiencing, and it's gonna change your life forever. So if you wanna do that, then stick with me. I'll share with you how. I basically have two simple suggestions for you. Number one is to pick up a book that talks about voices, the experience of true oneness. There are rare teachers on the planet who they call it abiding in the awakened, enlightened state. People like Eckhart Tolle, Adyashanti, Mooji, Satguru. There's many others as well. Thich Nhat Hanh. Any of those, they all have books for the most part. If you pick up any one of those books, Untethered Soul's a good one. They're gonna talk about. They're just gonna kind of describe the state of consciousness that they live in. And when you're going through this phase, you'll find that that's the solution, to just say yes to life, to just be in the moment. And when you take in that type of content every morning or every night, you'll find that in this Buddha phase of awakening, you're able to apply it more. You're able to really I kind of like what they're saying, what they've been saying and what I've been reading for years is really starting to click with me in a new way. And I'm able to actually apply it. It actually works. Let go, surrender, be in the moment. Those are just words. You'll find that when you start to program your mind to think and respond to life this way, in this phase, you'll actually be able to do it. And the other suggestion is to do what I just did recently, is to literally go lay down and make the choice to surrender. You don't have to know how to surrender. A lot of people feel like, I can't surrender. You don't have to, you just have to be willing to surrender. You have to be willing to surrender. And when that happens, there'll be an act of grace, the grace of healing, graceful, effortless awakening and catharsis can then ensue when you're a powerful co-creator with your own independent free will, and you don't have to let go. You don't have to do this, but I'm telling you, if you resonate with any of the things I said and you're feeling this way, then you have a profound opportunity to shift your consciousness in a truly life-changing way, but you'll have to surrender fully. You'll have to let go of these attachments of control. You might be able to do it 95%, but there might be that one thing that's causing that tightness. You have to at least be willing to try your best to surrender to even that. And when you do, you'll feel the peace. You'll deepen your state of awareness profoundly. And by the way, if you would like help with this, I have a guided meditation designed for this purpose. It helps you, the title is, it's going to help you connect with your higher self, but the meditation almost like, I don't want to say the word trick, but it tricks you into a state of unity consciousness. It tricks you into a state of presence and alignment with your higher self, to the point where you realize that you are your higher self. So it's a very valuable type of meditation in this circumstance. It's free. You can check it out down below at the top of the description box if you'd like. With that said, I'll see you all next time. Have an amazing day. I'll also leave a playlist to my other videos I've done on other stages of the awakening process, which, by the way, are things I've just named. These are not real things, but having gone through this, having worked with hundreds of people and being connected with thousands of people all over the planet, there are themes that emerge, and these videos are very helpful if you're going through this type of awakening theme. So I'll leave that up there as well to kind of go further and deeper into this if you'd like. With that said, namaste, my friends. Peace.